live from the Groove Surfers Studios. It is Thursday, August 24th, 2017. Welcome to
Coffee with Stripes.
Hey, good to see everybody out there. It's been a while. How you doing, Joe?
I've been doing great. Thanks for having me on here, Mike. And thank you, our viewing audience, for watching us. It's been a minute. We took a nice little break, and now we're back.
One of the things we've been working on instead of the show has been our band.
Yes.
And we have a show tonight, so
Got
we
a
just
big
want to let
show.
everyone know that's at Capitol Hill tonight. You can find it on Facebook by looking up Everything You Love Turns to Condos. That's the name of the party.
Everything you love is turning to condos. That's right, folks. You move to the big city to be close to all the cool stuff, and they tear that cool stuff down, and they put your little, terrarium-sized condo there, and they charge you a lifelong debt for it, and you get to live next to where something cool used to be.
Now, in our sound check here, you just you had a little song. I like that song. Do you remember how it goes? Something about a bowling alley.
It goes 1, 2, 1, doo, 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 doo. Everything we love turns condos.
Turns to condos.
They're tearing everything down.
Down, down, down.
Pretty soon there's gonna be nowhere left to go in the whole city. Yeah, that's right.
But your bowling alleys, I remember, is that part
Yes,
of the gentrification?
There
We
ain't
lose
no
bowling
more.
alleys?
Yeah, there ain't no more bowling alleys, man. There used to be Sunset Lanes over in Ballard. They tore that down, put in the big condo block. They were like, oh, there's a lot of demand for housing because there's a lot of neat stuff here. Oh dear, all the neat stuff is in the way of the dirt where we're gonna put the condos. So they tear the cool stuff down. And they put in the condos. And it's particularly prevalent in Ballard and Capitol Hill right now.
So, if that's the problem, maybe the solution is something for the King of America.
This is what I would say, folks. If I was the king of America and I had my, apple pie scepter and I stood atop my, throne of bald eagle feathers, and I would decree to the masses that if you're going to, gentrification, it's kind of unavoidable, all right? White people, we ruin everything. We're going to move in. We're going to make it too fucking nice. There's going to be a Rudy's and a Chipotle and a Taco Time for people that think Chipotle is too spicy, and a Supercuts for people that think Rudy's is too spicy. And it just gets boring as hell. I think that every time you tear down something really cool, like Sunset Lanes in Ballard. Hey, Ballard, you know what? We shouldn't call it Ballard anymore. We should just call it Ard, because you guys got no fucking balls, all right? You let your city get bought up. You let it get bought up by Seattle once. Now you're letting it get bought up by freaking California twice, dude. I thought you guys were a bunch of hard-ass fishermen, but whatever. You must, get drunk at 6 in the morning. At any rate, what I was saying was, what was I saying? Oh, yeah.
How you're going to solve every time
you tear down something cool, you have to build two cool things. For example, Sunset Lanes. You tear down the bowling alley, you build the big condo building. No, you tear down the bowling alley, you build a better bowling alley. Then you can put all the condos you want on top of that. That should be the rule, the law for improving a city. Instead of putting in your freaking little cut and paste freaking strip mall garbage with your little Five Guys burgers and your little, ooh, aren't we spunky, and your little, sock store with God damn it. There isn't a hardware store on Capitol Hill.
I've noticed it. It's been pretty hard to find certain things in many parts of areas if you need some screws or bolts or simple stuff on a project.
Yeah, it's almost like the parts of town that are experiencing the most renovation are the parts where you can't ultimately get your hands on anything. And ultimately, you know what the real problem is? You increase the density. And this is the little thing that everybody's too polite to talk about in Seattle. You start increasing the population density, you get it up to a certain amount, man, where you got about, 25, 30,000 people per square mile. And the neighborhood isn't good anymore. Like, you go outside in the middle of the night, your car got broken into. You got crackheads. You got your freaking meth heads. You know what I mean? You got your night lurkers. And, yeah, there's certain parts of this town that just didn't used to have that kind of problem. Everybody's car has been getting broken into. You know it, Mike.
Or taken.
Or just straight up stolen.
Yeah, this happened quite a few times.
I ended up moving all the way down to Lakewood, and everybody's like, "Oh, Lakewood! Oh, Lakewood's a really hard part of. Oh, Lakewood's really, really tough." I'm like, "Shut up, dude! I am from Las Vegas, Nevada, where everything is built on the grave of a dead mobster. I am not afraid of harmless ass Washington. And you know what? Lakewood is wonderful. It is gorgeous down there." And, yeah, when I come back up to, Soto and Capitol Hill, I'm just like, how many bullets do I have left? Like, I'm worried.
Yeah. Well, there you have it. That's the solution to gentrification. Build a
Gentlerfication.
better bowling alley.
I believe it's pronounced gentlerfication.
More pinball machines.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to tear down the comic book shop, you should have to build, like, a comic book shop and a bookshop, or you know what I mean? You can't just take away, and they tore down the old spaghetti factory down by the waterfront. They're just going to tear down that wonderful old building, because I thought Seattle was all about preserving the storefronts of old buildings and preserving that. Unless Vulcan can just cough up the extra $10 million, then they don't care. Then they're like, yeah, tear that shit down.
Oh, is that what that is? Paul Allen's. Was that Vulcan's?
I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking shit. Whoever's responsible for tearing down that old spaghetti factory building, I want to put like a chic curse on you.
You owe us some pasta.
No, I'm like 10,000 years of like ants chewing your ears, something like that.
All right. Speaking of, this actually ties in somehow. Spaghetti factory. We'll find out. We'll move on.
Okay,
to the
let's
part
move
of the
on.
show called Today or Tomorrow.
This is the part of the show where Mike is going to present something to me, and it is my duty to guess, to wager whether or not this is something that it is happening now or it will happen in the future, maybe.
All right, let's say you go and get some spaghetti, just like we were talking about, spaghetti and meatballs.
Yes.
And it turns out these meatballs are actual beef,
Okay.
but they didn't come from a cow.
Beef butt.
They did not come from a cow. They were grown from animal cells in basically what's a cow without a brain. So when it comes time to harvest the meat, there's no slaughtering of.
So I'm gonna wager. Sorry to interrupt, but I'm gonna wager that this is some type of a protein culture that is grown in some type of petri dish. Is that what I'm thinking?
Yeah.
Okay, so then I know it already exists. All right, so it
Well,
has to.
that's the idea. It's
I'm gonna say it's happening
not
today.
a petri dish.
Today.
Much. Today, the answer is yes. Actually, tomorrow in 2016, Memphis Meats created the first clean meatball. We're actually talking about a meatball. The clean. That was their term for it.
Clean
meatball.
meat.
And it's received a lot more attention in the last few weeks because Cargill, agricultural giant, and Bill Gates just put in about something to the tune of $20 million into the startup.
Wow.
So
basically, what this proves to me is that vegans will stop at nothing to eat meat. That's all they want, is just to eat meat again. And they're like, as soon as someone becomes a vegan, they're like, man, I'm hungry for some reason. And it's like, well, eat this tofu. And they're like, well, no, it's not the texture. The texture isn't, I don't know. And it's like, well, here, try some seitan. Ooh, this is nice, but I really wish it had hair and gristle and I would need meat.
Well, I can just see the conversations going on now. It's, hey, last month you were telling me that you're a vegetarian just because meat is gross. And it's like,
Yep.
Yeah, but when it doesn't have a brain, it's not gross.
Well, I feel. Can I get metaphysical here for a second? I feel like every time you consume the flesh of a creature, you are in turn like you're digesting some of that creature's like spirit. You know what I mean? So, what kind of spirit are you gonna get from a freaking petri dish, dude?
The spirit of the lab coat.
The spirit of scientific progress.
Pretty sure there's a French saying for that. L'esprit de laboratoire coat. I don't know much about French, so. But let's move on to a different subject, but a different segment, but we can stay on the same subject.
Very
real
good.
stuff.
Real stuff.
Real stuff. You can imagine, since this is real, what would your first dish be? Now, imagine you can get chicken, pork, or poultry, or beef. Would you be creating a new kind of meat altogether?
Instantly the first thing I would do, because I was in the meat industry for years, and between my experience in the meat industry and my obsessive joy with just messing with people, the first thing I would do is make like beef fillets that were shaped just like fish fillets. And then I'd make chicken breasts that tasted like pork chops. I would just take the shapes that you have become accustomed to seeing certain cuts of meat, and I would produce just the wrong flavor, and I would just sell that and just mess with everybody.
What if you got made a chicken wing on one side and a frog leg on the other? It's all part of the same.
God.
Is that like disgusting or delicious?
I feel like
It depends on how you feel about frog legs.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, food is pretty much like, the thing is, no matter what you eat, it used to be alive, and you done killed it, and now your guts are gonna eat it up, and that's it, man. Life eats life.
That is.
I mean, I don't think factory farms are pretty gross, and the general first world primary nation way of life, it's probably not going to be sustainable to like too many generations more. So we should probably start thinking about some Soylent Green kind of shit like that.
Yeah, and it does feed on life, and everything takes in itself. And what's going to fuel our economic development when there's no more bowling alleys to tear down?
It's just going to be condo cleaning supplies, because everybody's going to be in their little condo eating their little Petri dish meat. Oh, God, nobody's ever going to get laid again. It's just over, man.
Well,
That's how they curtail breeding. They're not going to actually enforce like any type of birth control. Everybody's just going to be so like depressed that they're just not going to have any sex.
Or they'll just all have a set of VR head glasses and pocket rocket, however you'd call that.
I told you not to peek in that keyhole.
All right. So again, I want to remind everybody that tonight at Capitol Hill, you'll find it if you look up Everything You Love Turns to Condos.
Everything You Love Turns to Condos, and it's an old art space, and we're just giving it one good last hurrah before it turns into a freaking Chipotle and a Rudy's and a freaking what else? Who else is obnoxious? Some kind of wood fire bagel place, like another place where like if you have like one kid and his name's like a tree name, you can buy like a T-shirt for your kid. That's the name of the store too. It's just the longest name. It's like if your kid has a name after a tree, you can get one a shirt.
I can think of Maple.
Yeah, Maple. Your little Maple kid goes in there to get like a funny like ABCD, but it's at the ACDC logo. $45.
I don't think Oak would make a very good name, but I'm sure someone's named Oak out there.
Oh, dude, there's probably people named Oak and Elm, and I'm sorry I'm offending everybody right now that's watching this shit. They're like, hey, man, I'm named Elm. You're probably pretty cool, Elm, but...
My name's Ponderosa Pine. What's your problem? All right, come to the show tonight, everybody. Copy
we love
with
you.
Stripes. Stripes says bye. See you, buddy.